Can you hear that? It's just absolutely incredible. Okay, so here's my very classic chicken Caesar salad, but it's a bit more than that, more than the sum of its parts. It's not one of those salads you just throw in a bowl, mix it up and tuck in. I love a Caesar salad, so I wanted to work out how to make the best version of it. This is it. Ingredients wise, we have lemon, Dijon mustard, raw garlic, anchovies, parmesan, egg yolk, crème fraiche, and green olives. This is the dressing for Caesar salad. For the actual salad, we've got this romaine lettuce, which has been compressed. I'll talk about that in the video. Some parmesan, some crisp bread, some really good anchovies, and a bit of crispy parmesan. That there is Caesar salad. The chicken comes later. So arguably, the key part of any Caesar salad is the Caesar dressing. This is a cracking Caesar dressing. You can buy them in supermarkets, but the one below I've developed for years and years. I think it's brilliant. Make it, keep it in the fridge a couple of weeks, use it for all different manner of dressings in the kitchen or for on the side of your roast chicken, whatever you want. It's just a really good dressing to have in your armoury. You can make it in a flask blender, you can make it in the Thermomix. I use RoboCoupe because I'm a bit older and I like a RoboCoupe. Makes me feel safe. In it goes, Dijon mustard goes first. This is the emulsifying agent, so it's really important. It's going to keep everything together and bound. In that goes the egg yolk. These are pasteurized, so we can serve that in the restaurant. Can't really use raw yolks in a restaurant. Now I'm going to add into that anything that's got texture. So in goes the olives, in goes the anchovies. These are just the normal, sort of more economical version of anchovies. In goes the garlic, and we'll leave the rest until later. Give that a really good spin and let that do its magic. Get it really well mixed up and creamed up together. In there's going to go some neutral oil, very slowly. You're making a mayonnaise, so in it goes really slowly like that. Rain in the oil, very slowly, nice and rainy like that, and you won't get any problems with it. If you go faster, big problem. There it goes. Okay, I'm about halfway on my oil now. I'm going to stop there, and I'm now going to spoon into that. My parmesan's going to go in now. This is grated aged parmesan. Use the best quality parmesan you can. In it goes. This is adding that sort of really lovely salty finish to the dressing. The juice of half a lemon, that's going in there. And then we're going to add, I know this is a bit odd, but this is crème fraiche. Gives us that rich, creamy finish to it. And then we can finish the rest of the oil. But just check the seasoning. Sometimes the anchovies aren't as strong as you think. Sometimes the garlic isn't as strong. The olives are not as strong. You just need to check the seasoning. It needs to be punchy, this dressing. It needs to be big and punchy, but also creamy and delicious at the same time. If you look at that dressing now, it's quite thick. I like it like that, but I do want it to be a little bit thinner than that. It's very simple to do. I just want it to be able to coat and drop between the layers of the leaves of that lettuce. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit of neutral water into that, and it will just let the whole thing down. It won't make it split. It will just let it down and make it a little bit thinner. But you just have to readjust that seasoning with a bit more salt to bring it back up again, because that's obviously very neutral. So drop that back and you'll see it will just give us a bit of a looser texture, which is going to sort of sit on top of that lettuce much nicer. So there you go. But that's just, you know, different eggs. It'll always be a little bit of adjustment, but don't be scared to do that. A recipe is just a guideline. So here's a really good way of getting all the bits and pieces out of that dressing, and all the pieces of anchovy. And this dressing has no real elements that can go off, so it'll happily sit in your fridge for a couple of weeks, no problem. So we don't want all those bits of anchovy and bits of olives in there, so just use a nice thin muslin cloth like this, and then just pop it in there and squeeze it through. Just saves you using a chinois really. And that will all just squeeze through and give you a really beautiful silky texture. Okay, so for this chicken Caesar salad, we've cooked some chicken in a cold pan, salt, chicken with the bone in, really important, whole legs, bone in, cold pan, salt, olive oil, low temperature, press on top. So I had this pan pressed on top with a cartouche, and you end up with this fantastic sort of glass-like chicken. I mean, you got that amazing crispy skin, look at that. Can you hear that? It's just absolutely incredible. That's how you cook chicken. I'll do that in another video maybe, Sammy. Beautiful. So that's our chicken. It's now been deboned as well, so it's all kind of ready for the plate. Now it's just a construction job. This is how I build my Caesar salad. First of all, I'm going to take my lovely plate that was bought for me as a Christmas present from Aaron Potter from Wildflowers. I treasure it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to make a sort of Caesar salad extravaganza. Here's that lovely dressing. That goes on the bottom. So plenty of that dressing on the bottom. And we're going to take this chicken, which has been deboned. I'm going to put these pieces of chicken on the bottom like this. So this isn't a chicken Caesar salad for one person. This is a chicken Caesar salad as a sharing platter for people. Okay, that can sit there. And then we're going to move on to the romaine lettuce. So this lettuce here has been compressed. Very common modern word now. What does it mean? It means putting that lettuce into a bowl of ice, cling filming it, and then putting it on full power in a vacuum packed machine. If you're at home, that ain't going to happen. However, wash that lettuce in really icy water, leave it in the ice water for at least 15 minutes, shake it out really well, and you'll get practically the same thing. We're just compressing all the fibers of that lettuce together to get extra crunch. That's all that is. Cut that lettuce straight down the middle, through the root, and that's really important. I then take off the back of the lettuce so that it sits nice and flat as well. And I just take out the middle of that root, because it's a little bit crunchy. There. That then sits just across there like that. I'm going to open the lettuce up, encourage it to give me lots of avenues to put the dressing in as well. Right, let's clear this away. I've got some bread crisps, really important in a chicken Caesar salad. This is just the crispy bread that we use at Trinity for our tartare actually. So just bread that's been cut very thinly, baked in the oven with some olive oil under a press, so it's got something pressing it down to encourage it to be compressed like that. Just finding the grooves of the lettuce to put the pieces of bread in. So we're getting a bit of height in here as well. Then we also make some little parmesan crisps. So this is just parmesan, which is grated onto a tray and baked in the oven. It has a fantastic way of just becoming nice and crispy and brittle, like pieces like that. Literally just parmesan grated onto a tray and baked in the oven. That's all it is. Absolutely love that. What we're going to do now is dress that with our dressing. Give it another go, because I don't think you can have too much dressing on a Caesar salad. And we're going to take these anchovies, which are the really lovely, expensive smoked anchovies. Pop those on top. All we need now is some lovely aged salty parmesan on top of that. And that is my elevated completely fabulous, overly dressed, indulgent chicken Caesar salad. I think if you have a dinner party and you make that, then it's quite cool, right? There you go. That is my chicken Caesar salad. Enjoy.